It's back. The Prem Prediction Show is back, and that means that the Premier League season 25-26 is about to get underway. And I am here to give you my predictions from the opening weekend of the 25-26 Premier League season. Now, as always with this predictions video, please get your predictions down in the comments. And yeah, we'll speak about all 10 games that are happening. One on Friday, six on Saturday, three on Sunday, and then one on Monday. So, the first game to preview and predict is champions Liverpool against Bournemouth at Anfield. And I've got to say, this is a very, very interesting game, to say the very least. We are coming off the back of obviously losing the Community Shield to Crystal Palace on penalties. And look, I'll be honest, the news today that we're going to be getting potentially Mark Guehi and Giovanni Leone from Parma, two centre backs, is news to my ears because that's the one position I'd be worried about if I was a Liverpool fan. Is the centre backs. I think we've obviously got centre backs that are injury prone, and I think that's the one thing that I would be a bit worried about. So happy to obviously be proved wrong. And yeah, defending champions, first time since 2019-2020. So yeah, look, this is going to be a very, very interesting game. And I look at this game, to be honest with you, and the last time we were defending champions, we played Leeds United and won by 4 goals to 3. So I'm really, really hoping that it's a bit of a different sort of game this time around. But yeah, we're coming up against Bournemouth, Andoni Iriola's side, who have lost most of their backline. Let's just be honest, they have lost most of their backline. Obviously, Kirkez has gone to Liverpool, so maybe a debut for Milos Kirkez against his former club. They've lost Dean Huijsen to Real Madrid, and they've also lost Zabarni to PSG. They have got Petrovic to replace Kepa and Mark Travers, and I think Neto is away to Brazil, back to Brazil as well. So the Bournemouth have got some good players. They've got the likes of Semenyo. They've got the likes of Evan Nielsen to hurt Liverpool as well. They have brought in Truffert to replace Kirkaz as well. And look, Bournemouth can definitely hurt Liverpool, but I think Liverpool have got players now that you look at your Verts, your Ekateki, obviously Mo Salah, Gakpo. And obviously the young lad as well, the young 16-year-old Rio Ingemoa, he can basically come on and do very, very well. Ryan Gravenberch is suspended, so it will be very, very interesting to see who Liverpool will play in that midfield. Is it McAllister and Soboslai, or will it be as the weekend there, Jones and Soboslai, or maybe Endo gets a game? Who knows? But Friday night under the lights of Anfield going to be a very emotional affair. Obviously, the first Premier League game since the passing of Diogo Jota. So that's going to be a very, very. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough for me to say the very, very least. So how do I see it going? I think Liverpool win this comfortably. I'm going to give Bournemouth a goal because I do think they have players on the counter that can really, really hurt you, like your Semenyos, like your Evan Nielsen's. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Liverpool in this one. So we move on to the Saturday 12:30 game, and we move on to Aston Villa versus Newcastle United. Now, contrasting transfer windows, to be honest with you, for this one. Aston Villa, well, they've managed to keep Ollie Watkins, they've managed to keep Emi Martinez at the time of recording, and it is looking like potentially Jacob Ramsey might be on the move to Newcastle. There's a rumour potentially he's going to potentially go to Newcastle, but when I look at this Villa side, they've got the manager Unai Emery, they've got Europa League football, so that's going to be very, very interesting to see how well they will do. But all around Villa side, it's a really good side. Obviously Martinez and goal, you've got Konza at the back, Hoyser as well. Um, and they have brought in a sort of a goalkeeper really to sort of be number two. So it was Robin Olsen was replaced. He was released at the end of the season as well. They've got Tielemans, they've got McGinn. They've got players as well like Daniel Mallon to have a very good season, and I'm predicting a really really big season ahead for Morgan Rogers. I think this is going to be a very very good player that we're going to have to keep an eye on. And I think as the season goes on, I do think that Aston Villa will get the best of Rodgers. If you think Aston Villa have had a good window, and that was a bit of a quiet window because obviously they've not really signed anybody really. Sand, I think, is the one that they've signed, and as I said, they did have the goalkeeper as well. Newcastle, disastrous transfer window. Safest thing to say. Um, who plays striker? That's the biggest question for me. Who is going to play striker? Could it be Alanga down the middle? Obviously a false nine. Could it be Anthony Gordon? Could it be Jacob Murphy? You just don't know. You just do not know what's going to happen with Newcastle, and especially with the forward line as it is at the moment. So yeah, I know it's like Isaac. He's not going to be there, so it's going to be a very, very interesting time of it for Newcastle. And whatever happens with Isaac now, I think he's burned his bridges. To be honest with you, coming out and saying he's never going to play for Newcastle again, I think that's his career at Newcastle over. But whether or not he gets the move to Liverpool is another matter. But for this game, 12:30 under in the sunny lunchtime at Villa Park, um, I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for Aston Villa. I just think Villa, for me, I think it's the best time to play Newcastle, and I think they will be licking their wounds. And I think Newcastle could start slowly potentially. I do think they could start slowly. So I'm going Aston Villa 3, Newcastle United 1. So now we have the 3 o'clock games, and we have Brighton against Fulham. Brighton, well, they have lost Joe Pedro. They have lost Joe Pedro, but they still have the bulk of their squad. They've got obviously De Kruper, and as a centre back, he's been very very good for them. They've obviously still got Bart Verbruggen in goal as well. And a shout out to James Milner, by the way. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but he's changed his number from 6 to 20 in memory of Diogo Jota. I think that's a lovely, lovely touch from James Milner. So very, very well done to that. Still got, at the time of recording, Carlos Baliba as well. But the players that they brought in, they brought in a young Greek lad from Olympiacos. Name I can't even think to want to pronounce at the moment, but I think he's 18, 19, so very, very interesting. And obviously, you got Danny Welbeck there as well. Looks like Matt O'Reilly potentially could be leaving Brighton as well. So, no, look, I think Brighton will be happy that they're home, to say the very, very least. Fulham, Cottagers, a bit of a quiet window, has to be said, for Fulham. Not many ins come in. Obviously, I think the main one really is goalkeeper Benjamin Lecomte from the French league. He's obviously came in as number 2 to Burnley. So there is talk that Adama Traore is being linked with Nottingham Forest as well. There is talk that he could be potentially on the move as well. I think their biggest plus this season is keeping Marco Silva, because Marco Silva was being linked with the Saudi Pro League, I should say, and that didn't materialise anytime soon. But you do wonder if he might maybe move on at the end of this season potentially, or maybe during the season. You just don't know. But Brighton Fulham, can't really see much between these two. Maybe a goal will separate these two, and I'm going to go Brighton 1, Fulham 0. I think Brighton have just got a little bit too much firepower to beat Fulham, so I'm going to go Brighton 1, Fulham 0. Now, expect a raucous atmosphere at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland against West Ham. Let me just get that off screen. Oh boy, what a game this is going to be. Look, Sunderland are really giving a go in the transfer window. They really, really are. They're giving it a real, real go in this transfer window. And look, I've got to say, it's going to be a very, very interesting season for them. But some of the signs they made, Granit Xhaka as a leadership, I think that's going to be very, very good. Simon Adingra, I think that's a very, very good signing as well. Mark Guihu, I think he's going to be a very good signing as well. They have got Arthur Masuaku, got a goalkeeper in Robin Rolfes as well. From the Dutch league to be potentially number one. I know Anthony Patterson is obviously number one at the moment for Sunderland, but going to be a good season, I think, for Sunderland. I think they are giving it a real, real go, and we'll see what materialises over the next 38 game weeks. It's whether or not they can stave off that relegation and see what will happen. West Ham had a bit of a quiet window. Not much has really happened. They've signed Callum Wilson. Is that a name that's going to really sort of whet your appetite? I don't know. They've signed Mads Hermansen from Leicester. And look, I think the one thing, they've lost Mohamed Kudus. So for me, their main threat for goals for me is Jared Bowen, because Jared Bowen is a fantastic player, and I look at that, and I think he will do a very, very good job there as well. So yeah, difficult one to call this one, because we don't know what sort of team Sunderland are going to be. It's going to be interesting to see whether they can gel or not, and that's my sort of main worry with them, is whether they can gel. But if you're West Ham, they've most of that squad is obviously Lopetegui's from last season. Your Fulkrugs. Obviously, Paqueta is now available for selection now as well, so that's very, very good news for them. But the same really will be absolutely bouncing. It will be absolutely bouncing on Saturday, and I have a feeling Sunderland are going to win this one. And I'm going to go for a goal fest. I'm going to go for Sunderland 3, West Ham 2. I just got a feeling that they will win that one pretty comfortably. So we'll go for the next game, and we have Tottenham versus Burnley. Thomas Frank, obviously at Tottenham, he's going to be I think he'll be a good manager for Tottenham. I really, really have a feeling he'll be a good manager for them. They have strengthened with the likes of obviously Mohamed Kudus coming in from West Ham, which I think is a very, very good signing, to say the very least. Joe Polina on loan from Bayern Munich, which you would probably expect them to probably make permanent as well. They have lost their talisman though in Son. He's away to the MLS, which I think after 10 years he was a very good servant, very, very good player for Tottenham. Madison's now out for the rest of the season, which is a massive blow. If you're a Tottenham fan, massive, massive blow. So yeah, they'll definitely miss that. They'll definitely miss that for sure. But coming against the Burnley side, who are obviously promoted from the Championship, some of their signings really confuse me. Martin Dubravka, Kyle Walker, Ashley Barnes. That would have been pretty good if it was like 2019 Championship, but it's 2025 Premier League. Look, I think they will struggle. I do think they will struggle. My main concern is obviously Scott Parker. Everyone knows what I've got to say about Scott Parker. But having said that, I do think that they will give it a go. They will give it a go. But losing James Trafford, losing CG Egan Riley, and obviously Josh Brownhill is absolutely massive. They have gambled with 20 million quid on Leslie Ugochukwu from Chelsea, and obviously Broja as well. Another £50 million for him as well. But Yeah, it's a tough one to call. Well, not really, because there's obviously Tottenham at home. I think Burnley would have been kind of dreading the fear of going to a ground like Tottenham, especially with obviously new manager as well. But yeah, I think Tottenham will have too much for Burnley. First game of the season. Going to go Tottenham 3, Burnley nil. So we move on to Saturday, and we have Wolves against Manchester City. Yeah, this is very interesting to say the very least. Like Wolves, again, like a certain amount of clubs, they've lost a few players. Matheus Cunha's away, Araine Nuri is away, Craig Dawson is away, Nelson Semedo's away. Still got, at the time of recording, Struan Larson. Whether or not he will be there or thereabouts by the end of the window is another matter. But they've still got some good players. Andre in the middle of the park. He looks very very good. Sarabia was obviously gone as well. They did bring in Arios from the Spanish league as well. Yeah, I do worry for Wolves. I do worry for Wolves, especially with the fact that they've lost a couple of key players as well. Manchester City, of course, they are obviously the visitors here at Molineux, and Ryan Nuri is returning to Molineux with Manchester City. Look, some of the signings they've made are fantastic. James Trafford has obviously returned to Manchester City. They've obviously got Reinders in midfield. I think he's a really good player, to say the very, very least. Cherky is another one as well. And let's be honest, I think this is a huge season for Omar Mamouche. Came in January, was probably City's best player up until the end of the season. Let's be honest, scored probably one of the goals of the season against Bournemouth as well. So I think it's a huge season for City. I think Holland will be hungrier as well. Um, People saying he didn't have the best of seasons. Like City just had a season to forget last season. It was really, really forgetful if you're a City supporter. So I fully expect them to bounce back in this one. And yeah, 5:30 kick-off, Molineux. I think City will win. There's obviously rumours about potentially Donnarumma coming in as well for Manchester City. So, look, I think City will win this one pretty comfortably. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Manchester City. So, moving to the Sunday games, we have a London derby. Chelsea against Crystal Palace. What a game this is going to be. Chelsea have brought in a lot of players. Off the top of my head, Hato from PSV, which is a very, very good signing, I have to say. Bino Gittins is another one. Estavio, he is going to be very, very good to watch, I think, next season. Liam Delap, Jared Pedro. There's talk they're potentially going to go for Garnacho. I don't understand that. I don't know, but Chelsea fans don't even want Garnacho. That's the thing. Don't even want him. So, yeah, that could be interesting towards the latter parts of this window, whether or not he does get his move to Chelsea. But yeah, Chelsea, World Club Cup champions. They've obviously won the Conference League as well. They are looking good this season, I would say. They are looking very, very good. Whether or not this can last sort of the 38 match weeks to really pose a threat to Arsenal, Manchester City, and Liverpool is another matter. But let's put it this way, I do think that they are looking good. Palace, obviously, the injustice of going out of the Europa League now and moving to the Conference League. I think that will bully them on. I think. Obviously, not ideal losing Mark Guehi. Looks like he's going to be going to Liverpool very soon. Does he? Is he evolved for the game against Chelsea? We'll need to wait and see. And obviously, Eze is another man. Is Eze going to go to Arsenal or Spurs? That's another one to look out for. So, but Palace won the Community Shield and deservedly was so. Deservedly so won the Community Shield. So very well done to Crystal Palace and yeah, Oliver Glasner. So, first game of the season, Chelsea Crystal Palace. How do I see it going? I'm going to go for a wee surprise here. And I think that this will be a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Opening game, just don't know what you're going to get. And yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Also on Sunday, Nottingham Forest against Brentford. Now, obviously, Nottingham Forest have been reinstated to the Europa League, which will obviously please their fans. They've bought all right. Dan and Doy, I think, is a very, very good signing there as well. Looks like they could be getting James McAtee. There's even talk that they might be going for Costas Tsimikas at Liverpool as another left back option, potentially as well. But still the same squad almost. Obviously, you got your Sells, you've got your Murillo, you've got Milenkovic, um, Ryan Yates, of course. You've got Morgan Gibbs White has managed to stay on as well, and of course Chris Wood. Where would they be without Chris Wood? Whether or not he can sort of do it from last season is going to be very, very interesting to see how well he will do. If you're Brentford, how are you feeling ahead of the season? Because look, I know I got a lot of criticism on my predictions video where I said I thought Brentford might go down. It's just the outgoings that really worry me as well. And I remember you've got players coming in as well, but Kelleher's a very good signing. He deserved his chance to be a number one at Liverpool. Wasn't quite to be. I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well at Brentford. But again, you've lost Thomas Frank, you've lost Norgard, Ben Mee, Flecken. You've also lost Bournemouth. Vissa, still question marks over Vissa as well. Still got Kevin Shadder. You have got Igor Thiago to come back as well, so you'll be like a new signing for Brentford. There's still talk about potentially Omari Hutchinson from Ipswich, but I think they're kind of waiting on sort of the Vissa deal to potentially go through as well. But yeah, as I said, I do worry for Brentford. Keith Andrews, new manager as well. Going to be very, very interesting to see how well he will do as well. But in front of the City ground, Forest were pretty good at home. They were pretty good at home last season, and I'm going to say that they'll continue where they left off. Going to be a narrow victory. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Nottingham Forest. Now, the 4:30 game is Manchester United against Arsenal. Benjamin Sesko versus Victor Gyökeres. I think I've seen dubbed around. um, Look, what I will say, Manchester United have made some good signings. Look, Sesko is a question mark because obviously of his age and the hefty price tag. I think that's one thing to say for sure. But Cunha, like that signing, and I do like Mbeumo signing as well. However, they need a goalkeeper. They need a goalkeeper really, really badly. I do not rate Onana, and I certainly do not rate Bayindir there as well. But United are looking all right. I've watched a wee bit of them in pre-season, and defensively they could still be better. I think Lenny Yoro is going to be a sort of a breakout player this season because last season he was pretty much injured for most of it last season. So, but yeah, United, no Europe, so no excuses really. They are entering the second round of the Carabao Cup, which will be very interesting as well. I think the more games that they have, the more they'll probably get into a wee momentum. But their start to the season is really difficult, to say the very least. Arsenal, look, I've had my say on obviously their transfer business. The only signing that really excites me in that is Gyökeres, I would say. But I still have my opinions on him. Still wondering if look. I think he will score goals, and he will definitely win those games where they were like drawing. Because I think they had 14 draws last season, to say the very very least. But Madueke, I'm not so sure about that signing. If I'm being honest, I just don't get that one whatsoever. Norgard, I can understand. Capit obviously being number two to David Raya. Mosquera from Valencia, that's a good signing. I do think that's a really, really good signing. Um, and yeah, as I said, Yorkeres as well. Still in talks with Eze. It's whether or not they'll be able to afford him. And that release clause, as I've been told by my Palace friends, it lasts on it runs out on Friday, so that could be interesting to say the very, very least. So, how do I see this one going? I'm honestly going to say this has draw written all over it. I'm going Man United 1, Arsenal 1. I think it has got a draw written all over it in this one. The final game to preview and predict is Leeds United versus Everton. Welcome back to Leeds United. Obviously, good friend Carl is obviously a big, big Leeds fan. This is a really interesting time of it for Daniel Farke. Look, I think we've seen in the past that he has struggled in the Premier League. We're interested to see how well he does with this Leeds side. There's obviously talk about him potentially being replaced earlier in the season, but look, some of the signings they've made, obviously, Perry to come in as sort of number one goalkeeper. You'd expect Melee to probably move out very, very soon. As well, Sean Longstaff is a very good signing as well. They won't have Patrick Bamford. He's going to be on his way out very, very soon as well. But there's still got good players: Wilfred Nonto, Dan James, Joe Piro. So whether or not they can sort of get those goals from Piro, and obviously Dan James and Wilfred Nonto as well. Still have Jack Harrison, but whether or not he'll be involved is another matter altogether. And let's be honest, I think the left back situation is a very interesting one because obviously no Junior Firpo now. He's away back to the La Liga. So yeah, Leeds United is a very, very interesting game for sure for this one, and yeah, look, good luck to them. Good luck to them for this season. But I do worry about Daniel Farke. I do worry about him. Potentially one of the first managers to potentially be sacked if Leeds do have a bad run as well. Everton, well, David Moyes did very, very well last season. They were fantastic. Nearly got into the top 10. And I think Everton will have a good season because David Moyes knows what he's doing. He's got the groundwork at Everton that he's doing really, really well with. And they've just signed Jack Grealish. What a signing that is, especially for a club like Everton as well. I think that's a very, very good signing. He will improve them. He'll improve that left hand side, and you've obviously got Ndai there as well. Tierno Barry coming in from Villarreal as well. And they've managed to keep Jared Brantwaite. I think that is absolutely huge that they've managed to keep him as well. They obviously got Charlie Alcaraz on a permanent deal as well from the Flamenco as well. So, look, I think this game suits David Moyes. I think he will have Everton tactically spot on in this game, and I am going to go for an away win. Everton didn't get many away wins last season, but I do think that Everton will get this away win, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Everton. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Everton. So there are my predictions for match week number 1. Please get yours in the comment section down below. And as I said, the fixtures are going across the bottom of your screen, and I'll give you my predictions very, very quickly. So, Liverpool 3, Bournemouth 1, Aston Villa 3, Newcastle United 1, Brighton 1, Fulham 0, Sunderland 3, West Ham 2, Tottenham 3, Burnley 0, Wolves 1, Manchester City 3, Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1, Nottingham Forest 2, Brentford 1, Man United 1, Arsenal 1, and Leeds United 1, Everton 2. So there are my match week 1 predictions. Please get yours in the comments. The Premier League is back, and so is the Prem Prediction Show, and obviously our review show as well to come in the very, very next week. Enjoy the football, I'm sure you will, and yeah, Premier League is back. We're going to look forward to it. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye bye.